Hello. Um, Welcome to my YouTube channel, starting over at 43 with Nikki B. And it has been about 4 months since I last posted a video. The last video I did was a 1 year update from a 1 year update video in regards to my husband's passing. And a lot has happened since that video. I believe that video was in October, I believe it was. Um, and I'd originally planned to post some more videos with more content and information that may be useful to someone. But my family and I have been kind of devastated, and just like everybody else, we were trying to adjust to this new way of living in the midst of a pandemic. And a few days before Thanksgiving, I contracted the virus, and um, I wasn't. It never crossed my mind that I might have the COVID virus, and so I honestly thought it was allergies. Um, I thought it was a flu that eventually ended up being a flu, and it never crossed my mind that it could be the virus because I had been so very careful in the way that I move around in my space, and so it wasn't until, let's see, several days later when I finally got out of bed to cook one piece of bacon for my Shih Tzu to give it to her. And at the time, I didn't realize that I couldn't smell anything. And I took a bite of the bacon and I realized I had cotton mouth and I had no taste. And at that point, I was like, oh man, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Um, Not just really, not for myself, although, panic started to set in, am I going to be okay? But more so for my family, my parents specifically, um, who they are the only ones, and my sibling, two of my sisters, they're the only ones who I would see on a regular basis, especially at that time. And so the day before giving, I took a rapid test, and it came back positive. And this was Thanksgiving, yes, the day before Thanksgiving. And so I let my mom know, my mom and dad know, and they let my siblings know. Thanksgiving Day, later on that evening, my baby sister texts me and says that she uh, may have the virus as well. She was running a fever and had all the flu symptoms the day after Thanksgiving, which was a Friday. She went to the same place I did and took a rapid test. She tested positive for COVID as well. Saturday, the day after, 2 days after Thanksgiving, which would have been a Saturday, I believe it was. My father, who has a host of health issues, ended up going to the hospital. He tested positive for COVID as well, but the uh, the doctors informed my mom at some point that my dad was probably at the end of it, and he really didn't have any symptoms. He was just, he was in the hospital. Once they ran tests on him, what he was suffering from was I believe it was severe dehydration. And so this was a Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the following Wednesday, which I do believe was December 2nd, my baby sister texts me and tells me that she's calling EMS for my mom, and that my mom is having trouble breathing. And so I rush over there, and I believe I was the first one that was there between my siblings and I. And in the event one of my siblings sees this video, I don't, she's not just my mother, she was our mother. So there are certain details I don't feel like I have the right to talk about because she wasn't my mom alone. And so um, EMS came to pick my mom up, took her to the hospital, and later on that night, they said that my mom tested positive for COVID pneumonia, and my mom seemed to be doing well, responding well. I have a twin sister, and my baby sister were my twin sister specifically was staying in contact a lot with the doctors, and they were relaying a lot of information to her in regards to my mom and how she was doing. December, I believe it was that night. Everything is a blur because everything was just so much was happening so fast. So December, either the night of December 2nd or the night of December 3rd, I spoke to my mom, and I told my mom that I was going to spank her because uh, she was adamant that she didn't want to go to the hospital. She had given my baby sister kind of like a rough time, which is typical moms. Um, and so I told my mom I was going to spank her, and she said she was going to spank me. And I didn't have a long conversation because my mom was having some shortness of breath, but she sounded good. And the doctor really wanted to relay some information over to my sister that I really didn't feel comfortable him giving it to me. I wanted him to give it, to my twin sister because she has a medical background. Um, and so that was it. December 4th in the morning, my twin sister calls me and she tells me that our mom coded. And and so I just hopped in my car and I went to the hospital where my mom was, and I didn't know what to do because at the time I was sick, still really sick. My baby sister was far more sick than I was, um, but we all went, and so I waited in the car for a long time, um, trying to find a park. Finally get up, finally go to security, and they were waiting for me. They were waiting for me. Needless to say that my mom passed away December 4th, 2020. And I just remember thinking, I just remember thinking, um, surely God, you're not going to do this. Surely you're not. This is not going to happen. Surely this is not like this is not going to happen. Surely you're not calling my mom home. Um, and when they were waiting for me, the security, I kept telling myself, no, it's going to be okay. They're waiting for me because, of what's going on, but my mom is going to be okay. And when I got to the floor, the ICU floor that my mom was on, I hadn't even stepped 5 feet outside the elevator. And I can hear my sisters wailing. And even that, I still kept saying no, 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 no. And when I got around to them, my my twin sister, she just She said, you know, she said, Mama's gone. And I remember my, my sister's eyes were so, she I saw so much um, fear and just her eyes just seemed so dark, so dark. I'd never seen that before, and it made me later on. And when I thought about it, when my husband passed away, and my brother was the first one there to see me, I remember my mom telling me that my brother said he had never seen nothing like that before. And I remember when I saw my sister, I had never seen nothing like that. I'd never seen, you know, what that looks like, you know. And so we waited around a long time, a while. It seemed like forever. And then they called us. They told us, you know, they wanted to come and say goodbye to our mom. And my mom was one of the old saints, old saints, you know, prayer warriors, you know. And my last memory of my mom is the day that she went to the hospital. Um, they'd taken her out of the ambulance, and we didn't know that my mom, if she was alive or not. And so my sister, my twin sister's probably like 10 feet ahead of me, and she sees them rolling, taking my mom out, and she yells out and she's yelling out, Mama. And my mom raises her hand and she tells me, she goes like this, like, don't worry, don't worry. And then my mom points to the sky. And that response and her trusting God no matter what was so typical her. Typical her. My mom just, she had a faith that just was unwavering, unwavering. She didn't worry about nothing. And not knowing that in a couple of days she was going to go home, I just remembered in that moment when I went to go tell my mom goodbye. I remember thanking God for allowing me to have a mom, to have such strong faith, and to even in sickness, to not worry, not be worried about nothing. And I remember thanking him for my mom, and I remember thanking him for the nursing staff because I saw the heaviness on them that day, heaviness on them. And that particular weekend, when my mom passed away, there were 5 married couples in the hospital. 5 married couples. I'm sorry. 5 married couples, and each couple, somebody didn't make it home. My dad was still in the hospital at the time when this happened, and he wasn't going to be released until several days afterwards. And my dad didn't know. My dad didn't know at the time. We had to tell him once he came home. And that's a whole, an entirely different conversation. But I did want to do an update video real quick. It went longer than I planned to. Um, just want to tell everybody to stay safe. My heart goes out to anyone and everyone, not just here in the United States, but around the world, who have lost loved ones um, in this pandemic. Um, my heart goes out to all the medical personnel, and not just medical personnel, but every single staff member, every single staff member, from anyone in the kitchen, janitors, nurses, doctors, PAs, CNAs, managers, and like every single staff member in the hospitals. My heart goes out to them because um, to have to do that every day, multiple times a day, it just, I see how that could just take a serious toll on you to have to watch that again and again in the families that you have to go and talk to and let them know that their family member didn't make it. Um, stay safe, you guys. Um, take care. Love you, and I'll see you soon.